And welcome to yet another A Star to Steer Her By. This week we are on episode 256.
Woo! You know, that's 2 to the power of 8.
Wow, you just totally stole Jake's fact.
Is it? I don't even know if it is.
You're gonna feel really dumb if it isn't.
I'm gonna do this right now. Hang on.
Jake is multiplying 2 several times to figure this out.
Any of our loyal listeners will know that that was not something I knew because I dumb when it comes to numbers.
Why does this calculator not have fucking like?
Because normal people
Just
are never...
hit times 2 and then hit equals several times.
Yeah, 256.
Nice.
Yikes, you did it. Good work. So episode 256. Of course, I am your great sage, Ames.
I am your lesser sage, Caitlin.
I am the greatest sage!
And I am the secret pilgrim or whatever.
Holy Pilgrim.
No, Secret Pilgrim's a John le Carre novel. Fuck.
Of course it is.
Holy Pilgrim.
Fucking course it is.
Sounds like some kind of John Wayne shit.
Or is it a collection of short stories? Either way.
No one fucking cares.
I'm Ethan Phillips.
I made a joke. I'm glad you went with lesser sage, because I almost wanted to say, and my lesser sages are, but I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to name yourselves.
I know my place in this podcast.
I take it back. Can I be the grand proxy?
The grand proxy.
Yay!
Yeah, definitely.
You're all sages, and I'm Rosemary and Thyme.
Oh, that's good.
We're having a good day. We're having a good day here because the episodes we are covering, if it wasn't obvious, at least for one of them, are Voyager episodes The Swarm and False Prophets. Oh boy. Outline this week, so let me see if I can remember what the fuck happened in The Swarm.
Well, there's a swarm, you see.
Yeah, so we've got Torres and Paris flying around in a shuttle pod, as they do.
Talking about boys as they do.
Boys! And suddenly, these critters just pop on, shoot them, and leave. Each shoots and leaves. Is that
extremely
yes, the grammar book.
That's the gorilla joke. And they go back and they realize, oh fuck, this is not going well. Jake found a swarm.
What is
MP3.
that?
It's a swarm of bees.
Oh, bees are okay.
Bees are good. Please make it stop.
That's just so how you know it's a swarm.
Yeah. So what we learn from these assholes who shot us and wandered away is that we're about to enter the space of these critters who seem like dicks.
Yep.
Like total dicks. And all we really know about them is that they're secretive and they don't like it when people enter their space because no one has ever survived it, or so Neelix says.
Yeah, it's the Willy Wonka version of space.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, so as we're trying to cure Torres from having just been shot, Paris is not doing well, and the doctor, who previously had been singing a very lovely opera, and good for him, and it was delightful, starts kind of having these little moments of kind of forgetfulness. And Kes starts to pick up on this when he realizes, oh shit, I don't remember how to do this supposedly incredibly easy surgery on Tom Paris. Typical Paris. And they realize, oh, this is bad. And this is all because we've been having the doctor on for way too fucking long, and his memory's getting full or something. He needs to defrag his hard drive, and we haven't been doing any of this. Idiots. So what we do to figure this out is we pop open his holographic diagnostic program, which is just a copy of Louis Zimmerman, whom we all adore, because it's very fun to have 2 Picardos running around. And Zimmerman, or Hollow Zimmerman, basically says, yeah, you should turn him off and on again. Jesus, Peter. It's not hard. But then they realize, yeah, but if we do that, he'll have lost all of his experiences from the last 2 years and all the development that he did that was really cool. It's why people like the EMH. God damn it, no one's gonna like him again for the first couple of episodes after this. Spoilers. Doesn't make a fucking difference anyway.
Shock!
I know. And Kes is there trying to fight for the doctor's kind of humanity, which is very nice of her.
His right to party.
Yeah. Fight for the right to EMH.
It always comes back to the Beastie Boys.
Classical music.
Damn it. Yeah, so it continues not going well. Kes decides, on her own Question marks? Let's just add all the space that's left over for the holographic diagnostic program that we never bother using fucking ever. Idiots. Right over that with some more space for EMH, so he's got at least that much more room to grow, and then we'll deal with it again in 2 years, evidently. Idiots.
Well, no, probably more than that, right? Because he probably already had, like, his factory settings probably came with, like, 90% of his memory full. So, like, if we assume that there's,
I didn't
like...
think of that.
Yeah, if we...
See, what you gotta do...
And that's with all of the medical knowledge
So
of
3
the world.
years.
You gotta root him
Yeah.
and get rid of the bloatware that it won't let you delete through regular methods. Get rid of those, like, little Verizon things and
Yeah,
this and
nobody
that.
cares about Bixby. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god, seriously.
But now he's got his own diagnostic program built in.
No, I
so-
think they deleted that.
Yeah, no, I think they just had to...
Well,
And
that
no
sucks.
one, despite everyone getting all uppity about how we made Tuvix go away last week, cares about diagnostic program.
Well, neither does diagnostic program.
That's because he hasn't had time to realize he's cool. Anyway, yeah, so basically we do that. EMH at the very end of the episode, has lost all of his memories of the last 2 years, but there's a glimmer that he sings some opera, so it's probably all still in there. And by next episode, he's just normal and he's himself again.
Do we
It's
see him
fine.
at all in the next episode?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think we do, to be honest. That was very Picardo-esque of you. I don't remember. Like, you did. It was
Why,
great.
thank you. But no, keep an eye out because we're not going to see any of this, having to rebuild the memories of the Doctor or reestablish his personhood or whatever ever again. Whatever. It was still a cute Doctor episode. On
It's
the
the
flip
same. It's the
side-
same exact joke that they did in
Nemesis?
Nemesis with Data.
Well, see, I was going to
before.
say, when you really think about it, this just occurred to me. It's like the Nomad episode, where they completely wiped Uhura's memory,
Yes, it is.
and she was somehow fine next episode?
Yes.
With no explanation.
That's
What?
after they
I
told
don't
her
even
what
remember
blue
that
is.
happened.
Oh, yeah, no, they, basically Nomad scanned her so hard, she forgot, everything except autonomic functions.
Come on, we've all been scanned so hard we don't remember things for a couple minutes, am I right?
Hey-o.
Heyo.
So on the flip side...
Yeah, so in the kind of B plot, but they did at least go hand in hand because they were from the same plot line. Janeway, who just decides this, really both episodes this fucking week. The Prime Directive is now a balloon toy you can shape as you want.
Good.
Mine's gonna be a poodle. And
I'd
she
like
says,
a giraffe, please.
you know what? We could go around these assholes' space because they really don't want us going through it and they fuck up anybody who does, but that would take an extra over a year, and we don't want to do that. We're just gonna plow straight through it. And, spoilers, it goes incredibly poorly for them. And they realize if we shoot one of them for a while, the rest of them go away because they're a hive mind or some shit. I didn't entirely follow it. We can discuss. But I also don't care because it wasn't that interesting.
It was not.
They get through it. Ta-da!
See, they should have just blasted sabotage, and that would have confused their swarm mind, and bada
I
bing.
mean, they did kill a bunch of them on the way out. So
Good for them. Yeah, this episode definitely should have just been about the EMH and
But
his...
then what do your other actors do?
Literally, who cares?
You could have written...
What were they fucking doing anyway? Remember
Yeah.
there was that scene where, I don't even remember what it was, but they were like, well, the swarm thing, blah, blah, blah. And Chakotay is stands up and points out obvious thing we've already discussed. And I was
know.
like, good job, Chakotay,
They
honey.
did a lot of that.
You
this
did
episode.
really good,
There was-
honey.
there was-
Nice job.
Tom's tackle.
The
there.
tackle was great.
Yeah,
It was pretty good.
I called it the Paris Pounce.
There was the half-assed... there was...
You can't move on from the Paris Pounce that quickly. Let the audience sit with it for a minute. The fucking Paris Pounce is
Fuck it.
amazing.
It's gonna have nothing to do with the next episode, but we have our title.
The title, that's gonna be our first fucking hit. Called The Paris Pounce. I don't know what else it'll be, but I feel like it could be like the next Cupid Shuffle. I'm just saying, 5-10 years from now, you'll be seeing the Paris Pounce at weddings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Nice.
could see that.
I also loved when Kes wanders onto the bridge being like, okay, I know Torres is busy doing an engineering. Can I borrow Harry Kim, the next busiest person on the ship? Kes, are there no other people on this ship you can harass? Come on.
I mean, then we'd have to pay an for a... What's the word?
Extra?
An extra that has lines.
Principal
Yeah,
extra.
but,
Thank you,
but
principal
Hogan
extra.
got eaten by a monster.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have Hogan or the other dick. Not Kovacs. Jonas.
Yeah.
We lost Jonas, who seemed to have at least some engineering.
Mr. Curly down there.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while.
He got sucked out of an airlock at some point, and they didn't mention it. The guy that was up for Torres's job.
The engineer.
Oh,
Carrie? Was it Carrie?
That sounds right.
Something like that.
We airlocked him.
But yeah, instead of having all this, like, swarm stuff that was boring, and I, like you, kind of, like, glazed over
I techno-babbled out, too, so...
Like, you could have just had scenes where they're talking about, you know... People could be discussing, like, you know, should we just reboot him? Should we, I don't know, remember that time? And, you know, I don't know. Just...
Well, they could have, like, done more with the Doctor coming to terms with his mortality, right?
Yeah.
Because we never really addressed that. It's like, oh, but he'll lose his memory. And it's not really given the time to air out.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah. I mean, I liked everything they did with it. I would have gladly taken more of that and none of the rest of it.
When Janeway, you know, when they realized, oh, if we have to do this, he's going to lose all of his 2 years of experiences. Janeway looks to the Doctor and says, how would that make you feel? And I was like, that is the best thing Janeway has fucking done on the show. Is consider the feelings of someone who she earlier didn't consider a person. Fuck yes, character development.
Yeah.
Unless it's Tuvix.
Yes.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, you know, because I know a few weeks ago now we had the awful, what was it? The one with the children.
Oh, Innocence.
And it was like, we said, it was almost like trying to make sort of age-related memory issues and dementia like, almost cute.
Yeah.
Which was gross.
Yeah, it was gross.
This seems to be doing it like more realistically and seriously. You know, he's even got the mood swings that can come with that sort of thing and stuff like that before he really degrades pretty badly. And I thought it was a much better representation of it. And again, I would have watched a whole episode of that. Mm-hmm. It also strikes me as bonkers this episode is called The Swarm, because even the show, the way it's written, like, that is clearly the B plot.
The B plot!
Yeah! I can't even claim that was on purpose.
I mean, I can
the Paris Pounce, or the B plot.
I can kind of see how it a little bit works with the EMH, because it's like, it's the accumulation of memories and stuff. It's almost like, they call it the cascade effect, which I also consider kind of swarm.
That would have been a better title.
That's true. That'd be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
They're so bad at fucking titles.
They are.
They should have called it the episode where the Doctor loses his memory.
It's a good title. It's snappy.
Yeah, it really rolls off the tongue.
And also, I mean, I think I've said this a couple times before, and again, I know we're going to see it again, but just like I'm kind of sick of Starfleet officers in jail incorrectly episodes, I'm also way beyond sick of aliens who are just assholes for no reason and we put up with it stuff.
Yeah,
like,
we learned exactly nothing about them.
Yeah, no. Like, and like at the end of the day, like you said, like Janeway just basically tells the Prime Director to go fuck itself, and I'm like, you know what, fine, because fuck these guys. I'm sick of, like, letting people be pricks. I'm not saying you're gonna storm around and make everyone do what you want to do, but when people are like that, it's like, we're just gonna shoot anyone that comes to us without any warning, like, fuck you. Just fuck you. You're a bully, you're an asshole.
Well, we couldn't understand what they were saying because the interdimensional transponder.
Well, yeah, but that's
translator.
Like,
Jesus.
They don't even try to find out if people can understand them. They just shoot to kill. They can go to hell.
The shoot to thrill.
It's not a Beastie Boys song.
Oh,
No,
also
I have a cat.
Other way they could have freed up some memory. Delete Sandrines, which is totally not what the opera was being set in. That wasn't just Sandrines with an extra stairwell in front of the door.
What you could do is just take out anything related to
Alpha Quadrant.
related to
not
like
gonna need those Alpha Quadrant maps again.
I don't
medicine
know. Next episode
and
is
anatomy
about the
of
Ferengi.
any aliens that aren't on Voyager.
But you never know when you're gonna like run into Ferengi in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah,
apparently,
That'll never happen.
I guess what I do appreciate though is that it does kind of go to explain, like, to an extent, like, I think we've talked about this, that they're the key difference sort of between, like, the EMH versus, say, Data. Because the EMH needs to be, like, connected to a massive ship's computer to work, whereas Data is self-contained. So even though he is, I think you could argue, just as sentient as Data, he is Data's much more complex in that he takes up way less space.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
white
doing
cat.
hissing.
Oh.
Let's see, I do have written down that it was Picardo's suggestion to explore the character of Zimmerman, and also his suggestion that he should be doing a whole bunch of opera. He's like, you guys, I can do some singing. And they're like, really? Show us.
So,
like a Matrix moment.
In terms of timeline, did this episode happen before Dr. Bashir, I presume?
Yes. It's
Okay.
still before an airing.
Okay, so this is the first time we actually see a representation of Zimmerman.
It's still a hologram.
It's still a hologram, but it's not like this. This is the confirmation that Zimmerman just looks like the Doctor.
Yeah, we saw that picture in projections of him.
Well,
we saw him on the screen.
We don't know if that could have been.
Oh, that's true, because
that was
EMH was malfunctioning.
Yeah. But yes, good point. This is the first. It is funny that the diagnostic program has a whole holodeck program instead of just having him turn on in the sick bay. Like it seems like you're giving over a lot of memory and RAM or whatever to projecting a lab that he doesn't actually need.
Well, no, he likes to interact with the little controls
That's
and
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess it's all about
It'd be too bodily if it were just in sick bay.
yeah, and I guess again it's like we've said before about the EMH. Why does he not have 7 arms? It's like, well, it's the user experience as well. It's a sacrificing functionality for the comfort of your.
So
patient.
B'Elanna, the reason why B'Elanna wasn't able to help with a lot of this was because she was busy trying to fix something in engineering.
She was busy diddling Freddie Bristow.
I was gonna say she was trying to fix her relationship with Briscoe. That's what I was thinking.
So we can all agree that Bristow gave Tom some rations to have him kind of wingman for him, right?
Oh,
That's probable.
He was just bringing it up. It's Bristow was like, Paris, you gotta, come on, man, I'll give you some replicator rations if you just, big me up to her. I feel like Freddie Bristow, has no idea what he's getting himself into. I don't know who he is, but I just feel like he's kind of this,
But with a name like Freddie Bristow.
Admittedly, that does have, a 50s, cowboy movie vibe.
Oh, see, I was thinking, he's an extra in Grease or something.
Or that.
I was thinking mafiosa.
But she said he was a kid, so I imagine he's fucking as young as Harry.
Oh no.
But maybe kind of squeaky voiced and pimply face. Hi, B'Elanna! And, if she did decide to give him a go, he would be just broken in half.
Hey, maybe he's a sub. You don't know.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he could be, but I just don't think his skeleton could take it.
That's true.
I'm definitely picturing, the length... the guy with the shoe shop in the next episode, but even more fragile looking.
That guy didn't look fragile.
Well, no, but he looked malnourished and, he would snap like a twig in a strong breeze.
He looks like a cartoon character.
Very much so. But yeah, I guess I did kind of get vague Tuvix vibes. Except again, this is kind of the Zimmerman program mostly didn't seem to care.
Well, that's because it was his program to not care.
At the very end, that was a brief but apparently noble existence. It's the closest he came to giving a shit.
It was Cass that's made the suggestion to do
Yes,
this. So it's almost that's like if there were 2 patients in a hospital and the doctor came in and was like, what if we murder you to cure him? Yeah.
Well, look, we all know you do not list yourself as an organ donor because they will let you die.
I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that a lot.
And that is totally true. I heard that from my aunt on Facebook.
That makes it true.
Yeah.
I did expect there to be an I want you to live moment with the I don't even know what to call him, the EPH.
What's EPH?
I don't know. The
Emergency.
EDH, Emergency Diagnostics Hologram.
So your problem is EDH just sounds like emergency dick hologram. So it's just
it's also true.
I need to get laid, activate the EDH. It's yeah.
Oh no, that's way later. Janeway does get her EDH. It's
now the problem
one of the only episodes I ever saw of this show before now.
I'm just picturing Robert Picardo's head on a body that is huge and buff. And so the proportions are all wrong. The head's too small for the massive buff body.
Yikes.
He's
you mean how bodybuilders are in real life? Because
but worse. And it's please state the nature of the sexy emergency or something.
I mean, really, that's what Lord Burleigh is.
Yeah, but he is not sexy.
No.
And not that burly.
No. Well, maybe he's burly where it counts.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Giggity.
Very muscular penis.
It's in his pants lifting a dumbbell.
See what you've done.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Zimmerman's lab coat was the wrinkliest piece of clothing I've ever seen, and that they must have just had to put wrinkles into it to make it that wrinkly.
I feel like we've seen it before. I'm willing to bet it's from some alien costume. I don't know why they used that instead of just a lab coat.
Well, I think they wanted him to look kind of frumpy. Like they
That's
made his
true,
hair kind of
messy, yeah.
messy
Mhm.
too.
As much as they could with what he had.
It's almost like Zimmerman wasn't involved in the creation of this hologram because like he tried
Yeah,
to make the
his
doctor.
interns made that.
Yeah.
Like fucking asshole.
Although he never gives himself hair.
No.
Maybe he likes the look.
Oh. Brain fart.
Oh no. Chris just forgot some of his memory because his personality program is too strong.
He's like, who are you? Who are you
That's a
people?
compliment.
I want to see an episode where the doctor becomes vain and starts wearing a hairpiece. Instead of just altering his program to have hair, he actually like has a piece made, and then whenever he turns off, it just falls on the floor.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. You always with Zimmerman, the trick is they want to make him look like kind of weird and nerdy. And that's hard in Star Trek where, let's be honest, like, if you're in Starfleet, you're a weird nerd. Like, even the, like, meatheadiest Starfleet person had to get into and get through the academy. So, you know, by our standards, they are a giant nerd. Like, they would bully people for not knowing as many digits of pi as them.
How
not
did
because they
Worf
weren't bad
get
at
through Starfleet?
That's a really good
I
question,
don't know.
actually.
The Rashenko's, whatever the fuck his parents.
That's true.
They probably pushed him to study hard.
That's
you know?
true.
Yeah,
I was thinking
exactly.
about
It is
that.
honorable to study hard.
Because like you gotta like as
Well,
much
you're
as
back.
people make fun of Worf for
Oh,
being
dear.
stupid.
He's not stupid.
Yeah, but people make fun of him for it.
That's
like,
racism.
I
That's
will
what
big
that
time.
is.
Yeah, I mean, like
It's just
Hugh
racism.
was telling him he eats books and stuff. But he
Making
had to
me
have been
very nervous
smart
right
enough
now.
to get into Starfleet. Yeah,
Why?
I don't trust this.
I don't.
No, the cat's back.
Just remove him.
Oh, don't go. You're so cute. Oh,
Oh, now he's fighting with
you
you.
know who's gonna pay for it is me.
This cat never meows, but now he's all meowy.
But yeah, no, you're right. Like, he's not an enlisted man. He went through the academy. He had to pass exams and get through whatever their psychological test was.
That's why he got such a big forehead in the first few seasons. It's because he's very smart.
See, that's what I don't understand is how he got through the personality aspect.
I don't understand how anyone does.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Maybe he's just so... Like, the other thing, he can be intelligent, but also be, like...
Kim still cries every night from his.
You know Worf's personality challenge? You know, like Wesley,
Alexander.
Wesley. No, close. No, Worf's was playing a live action holodeck game of Donkey Kong,
No.
and he was Mario or Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Because in Donkey Kong they throw barrels
Yeah.
at you. That was a joke.
I
It
got
was a
it now.
barrel joke
That's good. I was like, why?
I really now want a Mr. Worf reskin of...
of Donkey Kong.
The barrels are blue and...
Oh my god,
Very
that's
nice.
wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we meet a new friend, Chartis, the Mislenite pilot of that little freighter. When we first see that fucking thing, my comment was, okay, this broken ship is either a trap or a different kind of trap. But the guy seemed so nice and then he died very horribly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor
His
guy.
makeup was wild.
Yeah.
Well, I think the makeup was supposed to be like that he was bloodied or something.
Oh, maybe.
Like, I think the, like, white skin part was his skin, but then the red blotches
Oh,
and shit, I think
man.
that was meant to be, like,
he got fried.
because they were getting pounded for days. That's what they said. They've just been pounding him for days, and I was like, oh, fuck.
He also had horns.
Oh, I
Yeah,
missed
the horns I liked. I did like the horns.
You know, he's
Horny
good.
guy.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
he's been pounded
You'd
for
think
days.
there'd be nothing left after he got pounded for days, but there you go.
Yikes.
That's kind of what I was expecting, like, from the episode, though, was that things were going to go really wrong, as they did, with this whole swarm bullshit, but that the issue would become, like, fuck, we really need a doctor. Like, we have to reboot him.
Okay,
And
that's
especially because they were like, oh no, I don't remember how to do this surgery for Paris. And then he was like, no, she'll just read me the instructions. I'm sure that's fine. I was like, fuck that. So they sort of like jumped the shark on that and made it like, yeah, but it's okay. He can still do it.
Well, I think at that point, though, like, by the later stages, he wouldn't have been able to do that, you know, like, Cass reading him, he didn't even know what half the fucking tools were.
Should I use this on the very sick man?
He was dead by
Yeah,
then.
I
was-
know.
that was
and
fucking
then she's like,
tragic.
yeah, just go ahead. Just go ahead.
You're not gonna
Yeah,
hurt
go
him.
ahead,
Whatever.
desecrate that corpse. Nobody cares.
Except Chakotay sometimes.
Mm.
It
Well,
depends on the
we didn't
episode.
tell Chakotay. Chakotay was too busy pointing out obvious bits of the
The
plot.
thing is, it was the little thing he was using was actually actually like a lipstick applicator. He's just like painting.
You look fabulous.
He looks so much better now.
God, emergency.
Cosmetics.
Makeup
What
hologram.
is the state of your fashion emergency? Ooh,
Well, no,
girl.
I was gonna say emergency. Not coroner.
Yes, funeral director
There's a
thing.
word for that
Yeah.
because they have to, gussy up.
dress
more.
them up.
Mortician.
Mortician.
Yeah.
I was also thinking that.
Oh, so it would still be EMH. That's confusing.
Emergency mortician hologram? I don't like that.
What do they do with
Just
all the
call him an
corpses they
aesthetics
generate?
officer.
Do you think they just
Into the replicator.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was a delicious dinner
Just
later that
grind
day.
them up?
I mean, it's Starfleet. They shoot. Oh, you mean the alien corpse?
yeah, like
Yeah,
because
they grind his bone.
yeah,
to make
yeah.
their bread,
Starfleet
though.
corpses they take good care of, but if they're just collecting,
Yeah, no, into the replicator.
Mm.
You'd think they'd study them a little bit. Because
Yeah, they
we've
do.
never
and
met
then
one
into
of
the
these.
replicator.
I still want to know what they did with the dead version of Wildman's baby.
Jesus Christ.
That
I
go in
don't.
The replicator? Did they put it in a torpedo tube?
Torpedo
Think so?
directly into the replicator. I mean space.
Oh, no.
Oh, good. Chris is really upset. Sorry.
There's gonna be like a horror spin-off where it's like Neelix. It's like it's Sweeney Todd, but Neelix and Kess, and they're just killing and cooking the crew.
Except that, like, in this version, they would just be, like, making them into fertilizer for their plants.
Yeah.
Feeding the crew to Beauregard slowly but surely.
Oh, a little
Beauregard's
shop of
like,
horrors with
"Feed
Beauregard.
me." Feed me,
Well, see, what you do
Sulu.
is use the meat for food, and I think can't like ground up bone be used as fertilizer. Or am I making that up?
I think I've seen
Yeah,
that.
bone meal is a thing.
Yeah.
No idea. Gross.
EMH
Henceforth,
I
I
don't
will
think
be
it's a
vegan.
fertilizer. I think it's used for some other. It's to alter the soil. In some
Sure.
way.
EMH had a good line where he says, I can't imagine anyone being like so superior and condescending and arrogant. And then there's just a pause for the audience to get it, and it's a good time.
It was a good pause.
Yeah. Unlike the the Ferengi pause, which was far too long.
Oh yeah,
no.
the way she delivered that.
Dude,
It
like-
was
Oh,
cringy.
no.
The director should have been like, yeah, let's scale that back by about 30%.
Yeah. Before we get to that one, I have
Yes.
one more note, and that's that Tuvok was delivering great face all episode long. Because you could just tell the whole time he's preparing to say "I told you so."
Yeah, but nothing really came
He's
of
been
it because
No.
it felt like that was an aborted arc.
It probably was.
Because he kept looking so increasingly annoyed. I was waiting for him to give like a little like something.
Yeah. Like, guys, you put us in this mess. Let me get you out of it. And then he shoots everyone.
He stuns the entire bridge crew, puts them into stasis, and he's in charge for the rest of the voyage.
I would trust him.
You know what it is? It's because Janeway had to live through the memory of him on the Excelsior, and and she was like, oh, back in those days, you could just fuck off and violate regulations. That's what all those guys used to do, and now she's like got a nostalgia for that and wants to do a bit of it herself.
See, I had said it was, murdering Tuvix, like all bets are off now. She's like, fuck it. But I think you're right. It's the combo of murdering Tuvix and seeing Sulu fuck about and not find out that she's like, shit, I can get away with whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's-
especially
I mean,
because no
Dimitri
one is
did
paying
die.
any fucking attention there. Oh, that's true.
Well, now
R.I.P.
she's also got a little Tuvok mind in her or something from the meld, though. You'd think that would be, like, tempering. Well, what would Tuvok do? I know exactly what Tuvok would do. I'm not going to do that.
It's like, what would Tuvok do? I will do the total opposite and then some, just to piss him off. Bitch never brought me tea.
He only spills the tea for her.
But she drinks coffee, so.
Oh, she's
That's
a
true.
stupid bitch. What do you want?
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
Poor Jane.
Just
Wow.
kidding, I love her, except that she's always fucking killing Tuvix all the time.
All the time.
You are still mad about that.
Every day.
I'm gonna continue to be mad about Tuvix forever.
She's got a hologram
Tuvix is
program.
so
of it.
much Yeah, I do. Because Tuvix was so much better than Neelix, and it's unfortunate about Tuvok, but damn, anything to not have Neelix.
I thought we liked Neelix.
No,
I
I don't
do.
know. I do sometimes.
You do
sometimes.
sometimes.
I find
okay.
him.
Okay, we're gonna really like Neelix and False Prophets.
No, we're not. No.
What?
He's a bitch. I don't care.
They had swords! He was unarmed!
He
Let's talk
was
about
a
this.
Ferengi. They were Ferengis. He probably could have just overpowered them
He
by making a
doesn't know
threatening
that.
gesture.
All right, before we debate this,
Yes.
Before we debate this, let me tell you what the fuck we're talking about. We're talking about the episode False Prophets. Chris's favorite episode of Voyager.
Dude,
almost
okay,
certainly.
here's the thing. He was smirking like a fucking dillweed as we were getting ready to start the episode. And I'm like, what's so funny? He's like, I knew what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that is kind of bad.
And he's like, we're gonna see
I'd have
something.
smacked
We're
you.
gonna see something great. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, wait, prophets. I'm like, oh my god, Ferengi. And I was like, oh my god, the Ferengi from the wormhole. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I remembered a thing.
She remembered a lot of details
I was
from
like,
a
wasn't
TNG
that from
episode
TNG?
from 1,000 years ago.
I
It was
know.
actually pretty.
I don't remember anything about these episodes, but I can finally remember something from several years ago.
All right, so we're here to talk
good
about
for
the
me.
price. Let me recap the price for you, because they did that in this episode. Very blatantly. But, okay. But first, False Prophets. Holy shit. We're flying around, like we usually do, because we're on the Voyager, and that's one of the many things it does.
It does do that.
We notice there's this wormhole that keeps flouncing about, and we're like, that would be a really interesting wormhole. Maybe it could do something for us. But it keeps, like, waggling its tail all over the fucking place. I wonder what we can do about that. And they notice there's this little planet. And they're like, what's up with this little planet? It looks cool. They seem to be in, like, a Middle Ages time of their advancement, because we can tell that based on scanning them. However, we can see use of a replicator recently, which isn't tech, as we know how much the Kazons really wanted a fucking replicator, that it should not be in this fucking quadrant. We should figure out what's up, because maybe they have more advancement that we should know about. I don't fucking know. They go down there, and Paris and Chakotay are playing dress up like they love to do, and they keep hearing about this song of the great sages until they see the great sages indeed are the Ferengi from the Price, Eridor and Cole. We remember them. We cast Cole because the original guy was an extra and had no lines.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, weird. But the two of them are here, and they've been profiting hard.
Really hard.
Off of these people, because they assume that they're these special magical beings that have a replicator, which to them is fucking magic, which means we might as well give them all our money every fucking day. And everyone on the Voyager says, this is fucking wrong. This breaks the Prime Directive. And then someone reminds Janeway, I think it's Tuvok, because that sounds like something he would do. The Ferengi aren't in the Federation. She says, yes, but I want to do something about the Prime Directive anyway. I'm going to bend it to my whim, as I usually do these days, and say we're going to kidnap these Ferengi and bring them home so that they seek justice. The episode with Wesley. That's going to be their punishment. And then
oh, God.
They try to do that. They beam with these two fucking Ferengi, and they're like, yeah, but if you just make us vanish, the people on planet are going to think something went horribly, horribly wrong, because this is their fucking prophecy, and you're messing with their planet.
Yeah,
and I thought you assholes had a Prime Directive. And Janeway says, foiled. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it seem like you guys have to leave, so that they understand that this is part of their prophecy. Let's play more dress up, which was super fun for me, and put Neelix in Ferengi wear, because Ethan Phillips is used to it because he's done it before. Send him down there, and he's going to say he's the Grand Proxy, which is the representative of the Grand Nagus, and he has to take these people home because the Nagus wants to commend them for a job well done, and also get his cut of the profits because he's the Grand Nagus, don't you fucking know? And the two Ferengi say, well, let's figure out what we want to do here. What if we make up a rule of acquisition, because that's the thing we can do now, and kill the Grand Proxy? And when Neelix comes back and they're trying to kill him, he realizes this is not going well. I don't know how to pretend to be a Grand Proxy because I don't even know what that fucking is. Yield, don't kill me. I guess you guys can stay because I don't know what to do about this. And then new plan, because no one has heard the rest of this prophecy before. How? Paris and somebody. Chakotay again? Are they still dicking around down on planet?
Well, they want 3 frongs a verse, for Christ's sakes. And you know how long that fucking thing is?
And some shoes. So they finally hear that the end of the prophecy is that when 3 stars appear, something happens. The Holy Pilgrim will bring the great sages away in wings of fire, and then they're gone. And Neelix says, oh, well, that's I'll just pretend to be the Holy Pilgrim. That's what I am now. I go down here, I say I'm the Holy Pilgrim, we're gonna leave now. And the villagers revolt. And they decide this is the excuse we've been waiting for how long have they been doing this? 6 years?
6 or 7 years.
For many, many years.
7.
We
He says
finally-
we had 7 years of like
Yeah,
unbridled
pure profit.
profit
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck he said.
We finally have the opportunity to burn these assholes at the stake. Which you can tell they've been planning
They've been...
since day one.
Especially their little assistant.
Oh, Kafar?
Yeah.
Kafar is done with them.
Like, I thought he was going to set himself up as the leader, but no, he just really wanted to kill them, which I get.
I mean, almost certainly he is now the leader.
That's what
and
I thought,
he's
but at the
probably
end,
a tyrant.
he's giving out gold.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's how you get people to love you.
True.
Exactly.
Anyway, sorry, let's let Abe finish.
Yeah, we're nearly at the end because, no one gets burned at the stake. Sad face. We beam them out just in time because Chakotay shoots things when he wants to sometimes.
Well, right, there was a that's true, because they had like some kind of
deflector thing.
yeah, dampener.
Yeah.
There were
they
a
set
couple
up
of times in this episode where they like Chakotay was involved or near really terrible effects, and I was like, "What the fuck, Chakotay? Like that's his fault." So as he's like shooting the dampener or whatever, I'm like, "Yeah, nice fucking job, Chakotay. That looks really good." And I'm like, "Oh my god, it's not his fault."
With my last breath, I curse
Oh
Zoidberg.
my god, he had played that clip about 10 times, and I
You wouldn't
could
stop
not
laughing.
stop laughing at it.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of can't stop laughing at this, the way we get out of this is fucking laughable. Because as fucking usual, when we have the Ferengi on the ship, all they do is steal a shuttlecraft, their shuttlecraft, same one from the price, minus the chairs that I know Chris loved so much.
Well, it's also way bigger, but we'll get to that.
I don't fucking know. But yeah, so they steal the shuttle pod, fucking typical, fly into the wormhole, instantly destabilize the wormhole by becoming magnetic something, using
Things
their...
like graviton pulse.
Yeah, using whatever they do and it fucks up the wormhole, so now Voyager can't go through it. Oh no! Doesn't that bring us to exactly where we just left off at the top of the episode?
So did they go back though? Did they make it through the wormhole?
That's never stated because they say the other end
The
now is
other end
unstable
also,
too.
Yeah, but I wonder if they made it out before that happened. Because then
You're
they
never-
could go
you're never
and
gonna know.
tell Starfleet or tell somebody that
They wouldn't do
They
that.
would, yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
No,
unless
they-
there was profit in
They
it.
probably would because they're gonna be like, "You've been
Oh,
gone."
because they were gonna sue them.
Yeah, they're gonna file a claim with Starfleet saying that the Voyager stole all their profits.
And
But they don't have
Starfleet
any
goes,
proof.
What?
They have no proof the Voyager even exists.
And it was really fun to have another episode with like a play on the word profits, meaning profits, but also profits.
Oh, those kinds of profits.
Because we used to have that kind of stuff happen all the time on Deep Space Nine. We
Profit
haven't had-
and lace.
Oh, I hated that fucking episode. But other than that,
Now, it popped them off in the Gamma Quadrant, smack dab in the middle of the Dominion, and they were shot by Jem'Hadar.
Well,
I'm fine
if
with
I
that.
remember from the price, the original destination of the wormhole was the Gamma Quadrant, wasn't it?
I do not remember. It's
How would it
possible.
be the Gamma Quadrant?
Because I thought that was the thing, and that's why they figured out that it wasn't
Stable.
it wasn't stable. Then like Data and Geordi figured out that it was going to that the end moved.
Yeah, the end moves, but the Barzan, like the Barzan space is where the point in the Alpha
Yeah,
Quadrant
that's what the-
is.
Yeah, that part was
Yeah.
stable.
But they thought it only went to the Gamma Quadrant.
No, it was the Delta Quadrant.
It was
It
always
was definitely the
Oh.
the place that they tested it and went to was the Delta Quadrant.
Oh, I thought it was the Gamma Quadrant for some reason.
Well,
Maybe I misremembered
initially
that episode.
located in Barzan 2 in the Alpha Quadrant and one end that moved. Okay. The Barzan wormhole was a wormhole with one end or terminus initially located near the planet Barzan 2 in the Alpha Quadrant and one end that moved unpredictably to points throughout the galaxy, including the Gamma and Delta quadrants.
so we're both
okay.
right.
Stabilized by intense energy fields within itself until 2373 when its Alpha Quadrant end begins to shift as well.
Cool. So yeah, it was. I remember it definitely being specified in the price that they went to the Delta Quadrant, and that's where the Ferengi were.
Yeah, but I thought maybe it was because they went through, and that's maybe why they figured out that it was moving was because Data and Geordi went through, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't where we should be.
Yeah, that definitely
Let's go
happened.
back." And they tried to warn the Ferengi, and the Ferengi, "Nope, our wormhole now. Fuck
Yeah.
you."
I thought
Yeah.
it was because they put a probe through it, and the probe ended up.
They
somewhere
ended up going
else.
through too, eventually.
They did go through, but I thought they knew it was not stable.
Yeah.
Because
Anyway,
the whole
Anyway,
point, the whole
that's
point of the
not
price
the-
is that they were trying to negotiate
Yeah.
for who would have control of the wormhole.
And also, who would have control of Deanna's wormhole? 'Cause
Yeah,
that guy would
Frank Creepo guy.
Yikes!
wow.
You just called it a wormhole. That's worse than a
He
brown
wanted
eye.
to put his worm in the hole.
God
Oh.
damn. Anyway,
Something about Dune.
so yeah.
So this episode nominated for an Emmy for costuming.
Really?
They had some very fine
Oh
Ferengi
boy,
clothes.
the underboob was back.
Hated
in
that.
galore,
I
though.
I
So
didn't
much.
hate it. We'll
There
say
was
that.
also Umox, though.
Yeah, I wasn't that into
Could have
that.
done without that.
Full
No more
frontal Umox.
four-way umox or whatever the fuck, four-handed umox or whatever the fuck you said.
I was thinking last night,
So
like,
grossed
God damn,
out.
it's like Rick Berman, like all he had from Gene Roddenberry was the hornball element and none of the rest of it. Like he was horny on main and had nothing else that
Horny
Roddenberry
on
had.
Maine.
What else did Roddenberry have? Majel.
I was just gonna say Majel Barrett.
Nice.
Fuck. Ames and I basically just read each other's minds now. No big deal.
Speaking of Roddenberry, actually I have this in my notes, and since we're talking about him, this is fucking great. So this is apparently similar to an episode that Roddenberry had pitched for TNG. Didn't get made, but there's a synopsis of it on Memory Alpha. It would have been a two-parter called Ferengi Gold. And here's the line, I'm just going to read it directly because I wrote it down from Memory Alpha. The story would have involved a combination of some of Roddenberry's favorite themes.
Oh no.
Alien worlds developing civilizations very similar to those of Earth. Yep, he did that a lot. Aliens, in this case the Ferengi, utilizing superior technology to appear godly. You see that a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Attractive women appearing for no good reason. Check. And the moral perfection of the Federation.
This also, and I mean, we have seen this before because there was that TNG episode where a woman was pretending to be.
Devil's Due.
Yeah, there we go.
Ardra.
Ardra, there. That's
Oh
the one.
yeah.
She
Speaking of
looked
hot-
great. Yeah, her costumes also should have gotten an Emmy.
Although that one I think was a more advanced civilization technologically that was still falling for it, which is like, come on, guys.
Yeah, and I love the way Picard handled that situation versus the way Janeway handles the situation. Picard's like, no, we will prove to the people that the gods are false. Janeway's like, let's embrace this god thing and also pretend to be gods.
I think, yeah, that's her interpretation of kind of following the Prime Directive.
Well,
because these people probably wouldn't have been able to handle it if they learned that these people weren't the sages that they've been worshipping for 7 fucking years.
Yeah, but I also feel like, I don't know, I do think that Picard would have gone the other way with it. I think we've seen it time and time again where he always would err on the side of undoing the cultural contamination versus letting the contamination stand and, try to fix it.
And Cisco would have gone in and shot the two Ferengi.
Yeah.
Cisco would have sterilized
Poisoned
the
the
planet.
Well, and again, like, the thing again with Devil's Due is that they were a civilization that had already had contact with the larger galaxy.
True.
So it was a little different.
But, okay,
whereas this is like a civilization that's like, I think they said, like, say, like Bronze Age.
Yeah, but like the
medieval.
Mentakans.
That's true, yeah.
Was the same situation.
Yeah.
With, I can't remember the name of that. It was OG.
Yeah.
Who watches the Watchers?
With Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Father.
Yeah, like that's my thing. Is like I just feel like once the culture has already been contaminated, like there should be a subheading where the Prime Directive goes out the window and you do whatever you can to minimize the destruction that has already
The
occurred.
trick is to minimize. Minimize, if you just say try to go in and minimize, there are many ways you can do it, and most of them very wrong.
Right. But I mean, like, they act like, we can't do anything because, well, the Ferengi don't have a Prime Directive. It's like, okay. But let's say, I don't know, the fucking Ferengi were just storming around killing people. You're gonna let that happen because they don't have a law against it? I mean, I'm sure they do, but...
I mean, here's the other thing, too. If the people on this planet... Apparently the prophecy that the Ferengi were fulfilling existed before the Ferengi was there. It wasn't something they made up.
The poem existed.
The poem existed. So who is Starfleet to say that they aren't the prophesized prophets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who's to say that they aren't the
Although,
people that the song referred to?
The prophecy said they were supposed to, like, make their civilization better, and I would say they definitely did not do that.
Think about how easily excited these people were. They were so happy about shoes. Wouldn't it be nice to be that happy about shoes?
I mean, it's also, but again, it could be the same type of situation, with the wormhole aliens.
I was thinking that too.
Where they
prophets.
maybe the Barzan wormhole also had aliens in it who told the people on this planet about this.
Have we checked them for orbs?
That's right. Could be orbs.
Like lice.
Ew.
Because here's the thing, right? So technically, the entire prophecy, the entire song came true, right?
It did.
Because Voyager willed it to be true, but maybe that was just how it's supposed to play out. And maybe the result is that now the society is better, because they've...
Did they take the replicator with them?
Cote blew it up.
Oh, good.
Well, he blew up the other thing.
Oh, he blew up the dampener. The
I thought they made the dampener by futzing with the replicator.
No, I thought there were two
It looked
different
things.
Oh, then they really... I hope they took blew up the replicator.
They beamed up their shuttle, so they probably beamed up all their
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know. Let them have the replicator. Those motherfuckers have been having a hard life for the last 7 years. Give them something easy.
That was one thing, though, that I thought was
Those
a bit silly.
With the underboob.
That had to be all fake titties, right? Because real titties don't sit like that.
I mean, they make tape for that. Anyway, that was one thing I found a little silly, was that they were like, well, they must have had contact with the Alpha Quadrant because there's a replicator. It's like, guys, just because you haven't encountered anyone with a replicator yet doesn't mean that no one has ever not... Like, come on. They're like, that's kind of jumping to conclusions.
There was a comment I read, I think it was on Memory Alpha, for the swarm, going back just a little bit right now, that swarming species was the first one we've met that had a transporter. Which I think might be wrong, because I think the assholes... Remember the guy that really wanted to fuck Janeway a lot?
Yes,
well,
that pleasure
they
planet.
had that. It wasn't really a transporter, though. They had like some...
That was like a space folding hoodly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was it only worked on their planet because of some
But
science.
surely the Vidians have transporters.
They seem to be doing... Yeah, they seem to be doing transportery stuff. But no, I guess they didn't, because they used like grappling hooks to board...
well, because that's
Voyager.
just easier for mass boarding. But I mean, their little gun literally teleported Neelix's lungs out of him.
That's true.
They have transporter technology. Maybe they don't use it on themselves for some reason.
Maybe like, that shit's too fucking dangerous.
But,
Well,
I don't want to get sick going through the transporter.
Their bodies couldn't take it because they're just made of like little clumps.
They are already inside out.
What?
So.
But here's the thing: if they and it exploded. If they had transporters, couldn't they just reload themselves from their saves before they were?
No one ever uses the transporter for that.
Okay, but I'm just saying, could they
convenient.
not? Because that would just take care of their illness, wouldn't it?
Can we do that with the deflector dish?
But yeah,
the Borg must have replicator technology because they've assimilated Federation ships.
Yeah. And they definitely have teleporters.
But do they eat?
Transport
We haven't met them yet, so.
Well, no, but I mean, they probably they probably replicate like parts and stuff.
Wait, but how do they not eat? They gotta do something.
They go in their little booths.
Oh, no bellies, and they've got
They probably like liquefy dead Borgs or something.
Ooh.
Like they do in the Matrix.
like they did with that baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Caitlin here is all like, oh, he chickened out. And I'm like, look, they had swords. He had a club. I think it's fair.
Yeah, he had a stick that broke in half.
He could have beaten them with that stick. They're Ferengi.
I did say,
He's
admittedly,
a Talaxian.
he did throw aside
Yeah,
the
I'm
half
just
that had
saying.
the big heavy metal head on it.
We know Neelix is a coward for that matter. We know that he doesn't know how to fight probably because he ran from their war.
Yeah.
Because he knew that he'd
So
get his ass handed
what you're
to
saying
him.
is he is a bitch, and I was right.
He can be both things.
There you go. See, I'm not wrong.
He's multifaceted.
Aim says I'm not wrong.
I mean, considering he was probably given a 20-minute crash course on the Ferengi,
you think it was even that long?
he did a really good job pretending to be one.
Yeah, and
You know?
I really liked Ethan Phillips' performance as the Grand Proxy. I thought it was very well done.
See,
It was a good kind of funny that the later half of the episode just went too freaking kooky. But I think by the midpoint when we have Grand Proxy Neelix coming in, throwing out rules of acquisition, that was some good stuff.
I like to say, too, wait, there's only 280. You've been gone for a long time.
I said that right before
You
you
did.
said it. And then I also said kill the messenger, but I didn't say kill the messenger. I said just kill the guy.
Yeah.
But
I loved, what was it, Janeway was like, we're gonna turn you into the Ferengi authorities. It's like, what, so they can give them a fucking medal?
Yeah,
You
I know,
get
right?
that the Ferengi would be, like, thrilled with this shit, right?
No, they'd all try to profit off.
I was gonna say, if the Nagus did show up like that, he'd be like, I'm taking over your place!
Well, this depends.
You've
Is
done
it
great work!
before or after he hooked up with Moogie, though?
Oh.
Because new Nagus might not be so thrilled with this.
Yeah, but the other Ferengi would have been. Brunt would have been impressed.
Oh, yeah, very impressed.
When I realized it was absolutely, definitely Ferengi, I was like, oh my god, is Brunt gonna be here? And then I was like, no, wait, no. Wormhole time.
Yeah.
I did did you see their freaking little, poolside loungy chair? Because, of course, I notice chairs all the time now after our exercise.
Jesus, poor Andrew
And
broken her.
And I thought, that is a hell of a Ferengi chair, because it just looked like a long pink plush couch.
Oh, and little assistant boy, when they vanished, was like, my
Yeah.
fucking couch.
Oh, you love that couch.
It's a little too much.
I like, what was it? I've decided, because of something Caitlin said, she noticed that him and the shoe guy looked a lot alike.
Dude, so much
So,
alike.
they're
Just look of that planet.
brothers that had a falling out, clearly.
I did enjoy the poet, because he was delightfully over the top.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He was the worst and
we've
best.
we've seen him
Yes.
before.
Yep.
And we'll see him some more.
At least once we saw he was the conservative minister in First Contact.
Oh.
The episode First
Yep.
Contact.
Holy shit, I don't know if I realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd looked him up because we were thinking he was familiar. But what I had mentioned to Caitlin, because again, she's been rewatching DS9, and he's also the Vulcan ambassador in the episode where the group of ambassadors that includes Waxana shows up on DS9.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's part of that
The
trio.
Forsaken.
Yes.
The Forsaken?
Sure.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we'll see him in Enterprise as well.
Yeah, as a Vulcan.
He had a look that reminded me a lot of John Cleese in look and delivery.
I thought of John Cleese quite a bit with him as well.
Very Cleesy.
Very
Cleesy.
ecclesi.
Yeah.
Astic. Because
Ecclesiastic.
it was a religious thing.
I do
Nice.
like, though, that, neither the Ferengi nor the Federation people had bothered listening to the stupid poem all the way to the end, and that ended up having the sort of key to the whole thing in it.
Yeah, well, it makes sense that the Ferengi would only hear
Yeah.
the parts that benefited them.
Yeah.
Time is money.
Yeah. And they only had so many shoes to give away, Tom and Chakotay.
Just re-replicate some shoes. They don't care.
I know, I said that. I was like, they call back to Voyager. They're asking for 36 pairs of shoes. They live like fucking kings.
I like to imagine that the replicator that they have only replicates copies of the rules of acquisition.
I was kind of
that's
wondering
all
that
it
myself.
does.
Cheapest binding possible.
Which, frankly, as I said, still looks like a pretty good binding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice wood book,
You
You
would
could
think that human.
probably burn it to keep his family warm.
Eat it. Eat the book.
Well, I also wonder, so we find out in Deep Space Nine and Who Mourns for Morn that gold is basically worthless to Ferengi. They don't give a shit about worthless gold.
Can you replicate gold?
You can probably replicate gold, but
But
apparently
you can't replicate Latin.
You can't replicate Latinum. That's why it's valuable. So, are the treasures that they're extracting from these people gold pressed Latinum based?
Well, the thing is, on this world,
Yeah.
gold is worth something still, so...
Yeah, but so if Voyager, if they had returned to Ferengi space, they would have returned with all of this treasure.
Oh, it would have been worthless.
That's basically worthless in the Alpha Quadrant.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
then
a good point.
at that point, it's trinkets from the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah.
That Quark can put on auction.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
they could do collectibles. They do well in the collectibles market.
Yeah, the coins maybe aren't worth as much, but they've probably got all kinds of, other stuff.
Mm.
When the fight first started, they were just chucking gold at each other. I misremembered the as treasure fight, but there's the Simpsons thing, money fight, where Smithers and
Oh,
Mr. Burns
no.
just chuck bricks of bills at each other.
Yeah, regardless of if you think Neelix was being cowardly by not letting them kill him, the fight itself was really goofily choreographed. Goofy levels of the Prophet and Lace fight when that guy, the
Yeah.
Sluggo Cola
wants
guy,
to rape
The rapey
Quark.
one?
wants
Yeah.
to rape Quark.
At least this one didn't have rape.
Yeah.
This one
And
just had
lots of
attempted
ooh,
murder.
But they-
that hilarious rape scene. Yeah.
But this one, the fight in this episode really could have used a.
I mean, the thing is, it's a fight between two Ferengi and Neelix. Like,
Ugh.
there was
Where
no
the
way.
electric whips?
I know.
I miss them.
We're gonna find out that
boy.
the Ferengi from the last outpost actually like suffered from some horrible disease, and that's why they're like.
We're never gonna find that out.
Well, that's my headcanon.
Yikes.
Picard season 3.
I know. I was just gonna say, fuck you, Picard. Don't do
I'm
it.
sorry. Lower
I mean,
Decks
actually,
season
that
2.
sounds
Yeah.
exactly
Three.
like the kind of thing that New
Well,
Trek would try to retcon. Like, why did the Ferengi act so weird
They
in this
have
episode?
to stop retconning because I don't give a fucking shit.
Yeah, no one. Well, no. Unfortunately, people do care, but only the biggest losers care. Like, times change.
Catch up on Picard. Oh boy, Jake has been so angry because
I'm
it
so
started.
angry.
It started
started
off
so
so
promising.
strong.
I was the first few episodes of this season because I didn't like last season, if you recall.
I
Oh
did.
really? I think we have evidence of that.
And I was like,
See-
okay,
see our
they've
podcast.
made some improvements. The first few episodes are actually tolerable and not like there's promise here. But I knew, I even said at the time too, I was like, I don't get too excited because I know they're gonna fuck it up, and then they fucked it up, and it's been bad again.
Yeah, it's been fanfic. It's been them writing fanfic,
Oh,
which is
so
a shame.
I'm really bummed because that's the thing is I was looking forward to it, but now you've kind of.
Well, you might like it. Like that's the thing. Like, I just.
There are
I
things
didn't
to
really.
like.
I didn't really like how the last season ended,
Yeah.
but I feel like it had like a good, strong, like an interesting hook, and then I felt like it just went nowhere. And then where it did go, I like didn't give a shit.
Anyway, and as usual, it's the biggest cop out in this episode in False Prophets that you just steal a shuttle. Goddamn Murphy! Like, want to fire Murphy for letting two fucking Ferengi steal a shuttle. Worst Starfleet officer yet.
That's what I said. Like, he is going to get so much shit for the rest of the trip home. Like, oh yeah, Murphy? You mean the guy that got overpowered by two Ferengi who were unarmed?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So Ethan Phillips is not a bitch, even though he has a stick. But this guy was
They
supposed to take
had-
two Ferengi
yeah,
by
but
himself.
Swords
Yeah.
at the time.
And
Murphy probably had a phaser.
Do you see how annoyed he is? And I don't even actually give a shit at all. I just get to goad him on a little bit. He's like, I'll fucking tell you who's a bitch.
For those of you at home, I'm flipping her off right now.
I think it's that Chris understands that he probably has the same fighting capacity as Neelix.
You think his fighting capacity
Neelix
is that good?
could kick my ass.
Yeah, Neelix didn't get killed. That's the thing.
Yeah, like,
What I was gonna say about Neelix though, and him playing a Ferengi is like the only thing that could have made him more annoying was giving him a fucking Ferengi teeth lisp. I'm like, why is this happening? Why does this show fucking hate me so much?
But here's the thing. So Murphy's incompetence as a security officer, it's not just that he let the Ferengi go, because yeah, that's egg on my face, but he let the Ferengi go, and as a result, the Voyager is still stuck in
oh my god,
Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, he's not even gonna make it home. They
Like-
have just killed
Like
Murphy. Murphy
it's
is
literally
dead.
his fault that they're still in the Delta
Well,
Quadrant.
the
Okay.
thing is if fucking Janeway had just left well enough alone, they could have gone through the wormhole and not worried about any of it. And it's her fault too.
Well, it's also the fault
That's
of the
what I
fact that
think.
they still don't lock the fucking shuttle bay.
No, they did lock it.
They did?
But then they phasered their way out.
The Ferengi did?
Yeah.
Where'd they get phasers?
In their
that's
okay,
also
that's true. They
Chakotay's
should
fault.
lock the door
To the shuttle bay,
Yes,
yes.
that's true. Yes, but they did lock the outer door and they phasered
They
their way
thought
out.
That I missed.
they thought Murphy was as good as a lock, and they were wrong.
Mm.
Like, just fucking lock down the fucking shuttle bay. Or at least put automated phaser turrets in there or something.
Or like
When you go to
docking
red alert,
clamps or
yeah.
like something to keep the shuttle from leaving.
Glue! Really good fucking glue would be better than the nothing they try.
Mm.
I have some questions about this wormhole.
Yes.
So we know from the price that the end of it is stuck in the Alpha Quadrant outside Barzan 5 or whatever it was, and the other end wags like a dog's tail all over the place. But they somehow, using magnets, how do they work to like make it, stable for long enough that they would have been able to go through it? When the Ferengi go through it and make it unstable again, and it's wiggling around all over the place, they don't even like look up any other thing that they could do to try to do that again.
Well, I think the problem was that
The other
other end was moving around. So even if they could stabilize their end again, there's no
roll
telling
the dice.
Well, that's true.
Roll them,
but
Janeway.
Yeah, that's true. Like there's a 1 in 4 chance that they'll end up in the Alpha Quadrant, and there's probably like a 3 in 4 chance that they'll end up closer to home than they are.
I mean, if they're really lucky, they'll get dumped in the Gamma Quadrant closer to that wormhole, which they know exists. Because they departed from DS9.
Yeah, but is it open right now or not?
Well, I mean, they have no idea.
I'm asking. That's no, but I mean like.
Well, again, they don't know that either. As far as they're concerned, the Gamma Quadrant's a great option.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah. So,
is this where Murphy's Law comes from?
Murphy's Law. If you let Murphy deal with things, the worst thing will happen.
Ferengi.
Umox. Anyway,
yeah. So in this episode, let me wrap us up and segue smoothly, as I often fail to do, into our blogtivity this week. Those Ferengi sure were villainous, weren't they? Yeah, they were. Ames, good job. You'll remember last week we met up with Sulu and had some cunning adventures with Sulu, whom we loved from TOS. My. So we're doing some TOS fun this week. As we did last week, we enjoyed our favorite characters from the original series. This week, we're going to look at our favorite villains from the original series. And boy, some of them were not all that efficient, and some of them were pretty fun. Shall I just go first?
Go first!
I'm gonna do it! Alright, villain number 1. Let's go with Charlie Evans, whom I love, because he's a great villain.
He's a child.
He
is
fucks
terrifying.
up
He's
the
a little
ship.
bitch.
I'm sorry.
Just like Neelix.
Does that not make him a good villain?
Yeah, I guess he's a fine villain.
I
mean,
like
Gargamel is like the world's greatest bitch, and he's a great villain. So I think she's got something there.
All right.
No, I like Charlie Evans because I find him very interesting because he doesn't quite know how to be a person. So the easiest thing he can do is kind of fight against himself, really. He doesn't know how to person. He doesn't get women. He doesn't get that people want to have their faces. He's just troubled, and I think his trouble is what makes him an interesting and compelling villain.
He's the trouble with tribbles.
And it's it's kind of sad because he was raised by aliens who don't know how to people, and their only solution is just to take him back. Where he's gonna continue to exist with these
he's got such a sad story.
Weird aliens that just he can't even properly interact with.
Yeah. And I find his powers very interesting because we see all the things he can do. And it's really scary. He can kill us a whole lot and make us disappear. So I liked Charlie Evans from Charlie X. He's a good one. My next villain, we mentioned earlier today, so this is appropriate, and that's our friend Nomad.
Nomad.
Nomad is another one who doesn't really know he's doing bad, but I think that's going to be the theme of my picks for villains this
tragic
week.
Villains
are the tragic villains, the villains who were kind of programmed this
and
way.
There he is, right? Isn't that him right there?
Yep. Caitlin spotted him in our poster.
I see Charlie Evans too.
You see a lot of our villains
with
in
the
this
lizard.
poster.
I forgot he's holding a lizard.
I've been looking at it because I'm like, fuck, what are my 3 favorite villains? I know you told me.
I warned you ahead.
I know you did, but oh yeah, there he is. He's like right next to Nomad.
Yeah.
You don't even look very hard.
With
what's next?
Yeoman
That Orion
Teal
girl? You're
No.
like that fucking Orion woman. I hate that
No,
bitch.
the white rabbit.
But I like Nomad a lot because I also find his story very interesting and his powers very scary. And he was born out of like an accident and is just the Nomad and Tanru and doesn't know he's doing bad, so he thinks what he's doing is right. Another villain, my final villain, who doesn't know what she's doing is bad, is our friend Losira from That Which Survives.
Oh, the computer program, right?
Yeah, she's the computer program. She's a holographic thing. She pops up, says, "I'm for you, Kirk," and tries to kill Kirk.
Yeah, I forgot about that episode.
I found her to be a really interesting one because, again, like the other ones, she's kind of a villain who is programmed that way. Like, she reminded me a little of the prototype androids from a couple weeks ago in Voyager, that they're just doing what they're programmed to do. What they're programmed to do happens to be kill people. And I found her to be very interesting as well. So those are my 3. Does Caitlin want to go next, or do you want to think about it?
No, I'm ready. My theme is going to be the gaseous clouds that have left me. That cloud from Sabotage or whatever the fuck that makes Kirk crazy. He's a good one.
Wait, really?
No, but I'm gonna go with it.
It
is a good one.
I like that
Yeah,
one.
what's your problem? He's great. He's got a great backstory.
Well, I guess, I mean, he is interesting in that.
Look at now, he's gonna be mad about this.
No,
Great.
like, I mean, thinking on it though, like, it's interesting. Did they ever really establish how sapient, I guess, the cloud is? Or
Does
is
that matter if
just-
you're a villain?
No, but I think this would make him our first sort of like, he's just a predator kind of thing, you know? He's not even confused. He's just trying to live. Kind of like the salt vampire.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because my next favorite villain is the Space Madness.
That's great. I love it.
Which
Oh,
The
station?
TOS version,
the
'cause
one
they were on
that pretends,
TOS.
the one that pretends to be water and like gets into your system
okay,
and makes them
yeah.
all space drunk and fucking kill each
So,
other
yeah,
and themselves.
naked time.
Yeah, because there's really no idea what it's doing. It's really just like a virus thing. And fuck, I had like one more good one. This is the problem: is I spent the good ones at the beginning.
They're really good ones.
My other favorite gaseous villain, of course, is
Melvar.
yeah, I almost called the Sabotage Cloud Melvar because I couldn't remember what his real name was. I think I've been to
I've
enough
done
cons
conventions to
to
know how
spell
Melvar.
The lights from Day of the Dove.
Gothos.
Ooh.
Gothos.
Yes.
Gothos.
Because
Yeah,
he's a baby gas cloud.
If you didn't say Gothos, like,
you were
something
gonna
was wrong.
call bullshit.
Yeah.
And the thing is they're not really necessarily my three favorite villains, but it's kind of
No,
funny.
Gothos
very fun.
definitely
But it's fun
is.
to pretend that they are.
No, Gothos is definitely one of your
The
favorite
thing
villains.
is like I love Gothos in the beginning, but then he turns into a cloud, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
I can't fuck this.
You were a fabulous. Exactly. I want to be taken roughly on the harpsichord
By a cloud?
By a cloud.
Whoa.
No,
It's
seriously.
a whole new
but
kind
seriously,
of hentai.
while Koloff watches, it's gonna be really weird. Here's the question: did the Squire of Gothos know the Klingons somehow, and is that why he took on that form?
Well, wait.
Oh.
When did that episode
That
air?
Gothos was way first.
That was first.
It was season
It was season
one.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because it could be that like he just scanned the Enterprise's records and found an image
No.
of
Koloff? No.
Koloff.
I'm
He's like,
now-
yeah, I'll look like this guy.
Reminded of one of the most hilarious and also upsetting stories I've ever heard.
Oh, God.
Because you were talking about, you know, basically double teamed by different versions of the same actor.
Where is this going?
Adam West and the guy who
Batman. It's always Batman.
and the guy who played the 60s Riddler, who was in an episode
Frank
of TAS,
Gorshin.
Frank
Mhm.
Gorshin.
He was one of the black and white guys.
Yeah,
Yep.
were once invited to a Hollywood orgy. And they didn't manage to perform because before going in, they got, like, shit-faced. And decided they were going to try to remain in character the whole time.
Yep, that is horrifying.
And so I just kind of had this image of you with, you know, two different... I can't remember the actor's name, but, you know, one is Gothos and the other is Koloff, and they're in character.
William Campbell.
And
Thank
neither
you.
neither of them can get their dicks up because they're
Too busy being in character.
Whiskey dick.
Wispy, because they're clouds.
No, whiskey. No, I gotcha. Fuck. I was gonna say honorable mention to the button the Jettisons Finney.
No, that button's a fucking hero, and I will not hear a bad word about it.
But Finney wasn't actually jettisoned, though.
I know,
True.
but that fucking button's always there teasing us like, who knows who's gonna be next. That's the true villain, the one that waits and strikes when you least expect it.
Stay away from the ion pod, everybody.
Why would you go in the ion pod?
You better-
What? They have the ion
Because
pod!
that's
Why
where
do you
you
even
go-
have that lever?
Because wasn't that a thing? There was like an ion storm.
Yeah,
and when
but
there's
why
an
does
ion
there-
storm? You go in the ion
Why
pod.
does there need to be someone in there? Just automate it. Oh, fuck. What it really comes down to is they had to find a Star Trek version of, like, one of those World War II bomber, like, underbelly guns. So they made that up.
Anyway, let's move on to Jake, because I'm very exhausted now.
Okay, all right. So,
Good picks,
That was
Caitlin.
Thank you.
all right. So my first pick is going to be a repeat.
Ooh.
Nomad.
Yay!
I'm a big fan of Nomad for all the same reasons that Ames already described. Next up, we have T'Pring
Oh, that bitch.
Spock's bitchy
The
wife.
betrothed.
Yeah,
Wow.
who, she wanted some Ston action, but instead she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make Spock kill his best friend because I'm a massive bitch.
It's pretty much the worst.
It's really
It's
bad.
very Vulcan.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as Spock said, it was very logical of her. But yeah, man,
So she was more machine than the Nomad.
big time. Yeah. T'Pring, fuck T'Pring, man.
Yeah. Or
and-
don't. You're
and
probably better off not.
My third villain, I really don't have a good reason for why I picked this villain. Mostly I picked this villain because I want Ames to have to put a picture of him on the blog and his glorious mustache.
Bem?
Lazarus.
Yay! No, that's a
No! Gravy beer!
I'm not gonna lie. I was actually just genuinely kind of considering him because it's a fucking bonkers episode
You can
in a
still
good
say
way.
it.
It
We're
is.
allowed to
I
have
mean,
double.
No, I'd already decided
He
against
does
him.
have.
But
He also fights with his alternate self.
like I have picked somebody. He had been in the running for me.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I really don't have a great reason for him. I really just wanted his picture
No,
on the blog.
that's fair.
I
That's
do
fair.
think the character is an interesting character. The episode doesn't execute well, but I
That's a good way.
see your Lazarus and I fold.
I think you put it best. Interesting character. Maybe the episode doesn't pull it off as well as it could.
Yeah.
And that fucking beard is terrible. Mine. So I gotta say, it's funny because none of us are going to have said Khan because Khan, I think,
He's a little overdone these days.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think you can't wash the Benedict Cumberbatch out of your mouth.
Yeah, and also I think it's like we care more about Khan because of the movie more than
The
his
share.
TOS appearance.
Yeah, the TOS period.
It's a fine episode. He'd probably make my top 5 or 10, but does he make my top 3? And I'm gonna have to say probably not.
Well, and even in the episode too, it's like you are literally a superhuman and you can't figure this out. I don't know. I'm just saying, not that great.
Bones was the bigger villain that episode when he gave Khan the "if you want to kill me quickly, go for the carotid artery 2 inches to your left."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Fuck yes, Bones."
Yeah,
I know Bones is a cold bitch.
But because that it didn't even. I kind of when I was trying to think, I didn't even think of Khan. Now I looked at the poster, I was like, oh yeah, Khan. Huh. But what I'm gonna do is I have to say Harry Mudd because Harry Mudd.
Mm-hmm.
Lots more Harry Mudd. Harry Mudd from I Mudd or Harry Mudd from Mudd's Women?
I Mudd.
Ooh, from I Mudd.
No, Mudd's Women. Mudd's
I was
Women.
gonna say no. Wait,
He's much more of a
diabolical.
cartoon.
Yeah, yes, Mudd's Women. Mudd's Women.
I
Jesus
Mudd.
Christ. Yeah, no, the one where he actually shows his dark side more obviously.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically the original Ferengi.
Yeah, kinda.
In a lot-
Oh
in-
shit,
in
you're
a
right.
lot of
Yeah,
ways.
there's a lot of Got to give some props to Mark Leonard's unnamed Romulan commander
Ooh,
from
yeah,
Balance
yeah.
of Terror.
So good. That's a great episode.
Just such a good. And again, not even really
But in another.
Well, I was about to say
world,
yes.
he
Could have been friend.
could have been
Just
friend.
just a victim of the Cold War more than anything. Not really a. Not a sadistic scheming like I must destroy. It's like we're caught up in this political bullshit. Here we are. And then Lenore from Conscience of the
Ooh,
King.
That's a good.
I
That's
was actually I was very much considering Kodos. So
But
it's
the thing
interesting
is, he
that
ends up being a good guy.
Well,
not a good guy.
not a good guy, but he has
he's
a
not-
redeeming moment.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not the.
He's not the villain of the episode. He's a villain in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's fascinating, Lenore is I think she is something everyone experiences. Well, most folks get to experience, written to an extreme, where it's like one day you grow up and you understand who your parents are in a way that your child self never could. And oh fuck, my father was a genocidal maniac, and that broke her so much. And I also realized, I was thinking about it, at the time, that was, it's the 1960s. How many children potentially were finding out what their parents did during the war at that point?
None of them.
Well, some might have, or at least had questions that maybe weren't getting answered. But yeah, Lenore. And again, I think when we did our tops for that series, I even made Conscious of the King my top 1, or was in the list definitely.
I think you did.
And yeah, just it's like, she just found out this inconceivable thing about her father, and it just destroyed her. And she had to preserve this idea she'd had of him beforehand at the cost of her own sort of sanity and happiness.
Nice.
And she just becomes a killer.
Yeah.
And then she goes mad at the end.
Mhm.
Ophelia levels mad.
Well, it's because it's a big Hamlet thing.
Hey.
Oh.
I almost included, instead of Charlie Evans, the M5. And I thought to myself afterwards,
You
like,
can't
that
have
would,
Nomad and the M5.
that would just be, like, my theme for the week would be, I'm not villainous, I'm just programmed this way.
Yeah, really, I should have just listed all the evil computers I could think of. The
Andrew?
Landrew, the
yeah.
big dragon head.
Val.
Yeah, Val.
Oh, yeah. Ball from the apple.
Oh, the space hippies. Not the space
yeah.
hippies.
Yeah, there were a lot, that I was thinking about. Yeah,
Sounds
'cause
like
I said,
Herbert was the real villain.
Herbert. Fucking Herberts.
Nah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I was
Evil
considering
Kirk.
Kodos.
I actually thought about talking about Evil Kirk. Yeah.
Well, would it be evil Kirk or rapey half of Kirk?
Yes, that rapey half
rapey
of
half
Kirk.
of
Not
Kirk.
to be confused with Mirror Kirk.
Right.
Oh, that's true. There are many Kirks.
But yes, I mean, scratch on your face. I'm Captain Kirk.
Kirk, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was reviewing the list and saying, like, oh no, some of these villains are just too cartoonish.
I did think about Captain. I've forgotten because I didn't include him, but I think Captain Tracy.
Oh, the guy who played Van Gelder on Omega Glory?
Yeah, Omega Glory. Because even though I fucking hate the episode because of where it goes, I loved his just the man gives great crazy face, but it's just the episode is just too awful.
I almost mentioned the big cat from Cat's Paw.
Yes.
Sylvia.
Yeah.
I was actually I was considering Finney. Not the Finney Button,
Right, but Finney
himself, because he actually does some villainous
He
things.
really.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Finnegan.
Oh, well, there's also well, Finnegan's just a jerk, and he wasn't even real. So.
Yeah, we don't know how exaggerated Kirk's memories may have been. I'm not saying Finney wasn't a jerk, but you kind of wonder how much of it is compounded by 20 or 15 to 20 years of him stewing over this guy, and it's maybe he wasn't actually as bad. Or who knows, maybe he actually wasn't bad at all, but he, I don't know, got with some girl Kirk really wanted, and he's been bitter about it ever since.
Yeah, they played one prank too many, and it's always sat wrong with Kirk.
That thing, they were thick as thieves, being prank buddies together, and then just the one that went wrong.
You know what it was? It's the remember that terrible horror movie that I like, Slaughter High?
Yes.
That's what happened. They played a prank on a poor nerd in a chemistry lab and blew up his face.
Oh no!
And then he killed all their friends, and they were like, "Whoops, we fucked up."
Justified.
Yeah.
It's a terrible movie. It's
Awful.
It's by the Friday the 13th people,
Mm-hmm.
but it's April Fool's Day, and this kid, he gets pranked a couple different times, but the final prank is they fuck with his chems, and it starts a big fire, and it burns his whole face off, and so years later, it's their
Yikes.
10-year reunion, and he invites them all back to school and then kills them one by one, but in the worst, most horrible 1980s ways. There's one that he actually she falls into a sewage ditch, and he just pushes her head underwater with his foot. It isn't even a good murder. She's just oh no, and he's just glug glug, and you're it's over, I guess.
Jesus.
Okay, I got new one. I got 3 new ones. So
We got more new ones? They're not going in the blog.
We're gonna do
The Gorn.
We're gonna do Montgomery Scott as Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
We're gonna do Spock as
Hanok?
literal Hitler.
Oh, literal Hitler. Not when he's possessed by that asshole.
just Spock the Nazi.
Just normal Spock.
Spock
Spock.
the Nazi admirer.
Stroke Apologist.
and half of rapey Kirk.
Which half?
The lower half. The rapey half.
How about Jizz Flowers? Just the Jizz Flowers themselves.
We're going off the rails here.
I mean, they make people really happy though.
Yeah, but they made them
and also
sedentary.
immune to horrible, deadly space radiation.
Oh, that would be
They
nice.
all should have been dead.
Yeah,
Well,
so
some
once
of
again,
these-
the Jizz Flowers are just heroes.
Some of these we can also talk about a little more next week, because next week we're going to continue our theme of spotlighting favorite things from TOS.
Spot. Oh no, it's
Our
TNG.
favorite
Close.
plants.
How
Our
about-
favorite named plants.
Our favorite races from TOS.
Ooh.
Surprising no one.
Most
I
of
thought
them-
Beauregard here 3 times.
I don't blame you. That's a good pick. Yeah, so join us next week. We're going to talk about those. Lay your bets now. How many times Beauregard is on the list? It's going to be several.
Caitlin's list alone.
The other thing we're doing next week is we're continuing to talk about Voyager.
Woo!
Shocking everyone.
Woo!
Will the Doctor have his memories back
Yes.
by the time we get to episode Remember?
Nice.
Will the Doctor remember by episode? Remember.
And episode Sacred Ground. So that's
Oh,
next week.
no, that's a Chakotay, isn't it?
I don't know the episode.
I don't think it is.
Really?
Sounds like
I don't think
it.
so.
Oh, I hope not, because...
It sounds like it should be.
One day they'll do a good Chakotay. Actually, here we go. Here it is.
That was a Jane.
When we do our fanfics, just give me Chakotay and I'll do it my fucking self.
I do feel bad.
Challenge accepted.
Because I guess, like,
Wow,
part of the
Ames would do
reason...
a good job with Chakotay.
Part of the reason I've heard that Chakotay was kind of, like, underserved, aside from the shitty advisor who
Is it
didn't know
because he's
anything.
not a very good actor?
No, him and one of the producers, I guess, didn't get on. So the producer
Oh.
kind of was like, fuck Chakotay.
That's
The
rude.
producer was like, well, Robert Beltran won't fuck me, so fuck Chakotay.
Like, I don't know, I've never looked into how true that may be, but yeah, I know him and one of the producers kind of, like, didn't get on, so that may have affected how the show...
See, now I think we should all have to write really good Chakotay fanfiction.
Let's do it.
Let's just
That's
all
our
write
fanfic
good
challenge,
Chakotay
is write a good
fanfiction.
Chakotay thing.
And the great thing is, he has no character, so you don't have to worry about, like, keeping within it. You just have to say, like, you can be like, oh, spirit wheel, animal guide. Just throw those words in, and that's
No,
it. That's
we
No,
don't
all
good
we want.
episode.
yeah, if we do it, I feel like we have to do research into actual...
Oh, I'm too lazy for that.
Like,
Wow, if
avoid
Okay,
the
here's-
Native American stuff entirely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we
Or
can't-
do a lot of research.
No, we can't. We can't do the research, because you know what happens is you wind up cherry picking some shit from this culture, that culture.
Exactly.
You're mixing up your indigenous peoples. You're pissing people off even more than Chakotay does.
Yeah,
can't-
so we just
can't do
avoid
that.
that.
How about we do one
aspect.
where, like, Chakotay does a 23andMe and finds out that he's actually Italian?
That's a
No!
good episode. Write that
No!
episode. Speaking of write that episode, next week we're going to talk about those episodes. Enjoy that next week. In the meantime, listen to our 255 other episodes.
Woo,
Jesus.
so many episodes.
And our other fanfics.
Mm.
I don't think we plug the fanfics often enough because
No,
I think
we
they
haven't.
are excellent. They're also up on the Tumblr and also up on the SoundCloud. They're wherever you can find things. Definitely check out all of our other work. Check out our Tumblr for other blog activities like this. These screen grabs will be up. See which Lazarus photo Jake has made me used. Thanks, Jake. Over
the
on
soupiest
Tumblr.
beard.
Ugh.
Hang out with us on Facebook and Twitter. Tell us who your favorite villains of TOS are. Everyone rushes to say you forgot Khan. Sorry, guys.
We didn't forget.
I already said we.
He
didn't
just
list
wasn't
him.
good enough.
Yeah, and then we'll talk to you next week. This has been your, what will be Great Sages? This has been your Great Sage. We're hopping onto this fire pit where you're going to burn us alive. This was Ames.
Still Lesser Sage, Caitlin.
Proxy.
And this is Chris's holographic diagnostic program.
We're
Oh,
going to
your
write
hair
over
looks
you, Chris.
great.
Oh, boo.
Rule of acquisition, number
Oh, yeah.
299. Whenever you exploit someone, it never hurts to thank them. That way, it's easier to exploit them the next time.
Yay!